Anybody have a sentence they want to be repeated through the microphone? Nice. Stay away from the naysayers. You can do it. So, sitting next to me is a relatively new friend, Cindy McCain. And we're going to have a rather informal dialogue about the philanthropic journey. And Cindy is, in my analysis, a role model. And I think you will discover how. So let's start with a couple of simple questions. Like, I hear you're married to some famous guy or something.
I rarely see him though. I don't get to see much of him. No. We've been married 33 years, and we have a great partnership as well as a marriage, obviously. And the philanthropic portion of that is a large part of what we do together. So yeah, I am, and he's busy right now.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So I would love to know how your journey as a philanthropist began. Where did the values come from? What was the role that your parents played and your community played in helping shape your desire and style of giving?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'm very glad to be here, and I'm glad to see so many of you, not only people that are involved in philanthropy directly or indirectly or in whatever way. I'm just glad you're here. I'm especially glad to see faces that are much younger than mine. That's very important, and I'm thrilled that you all are here. Philanthropic Journey. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone is here for a different reason. Everyone here either had an experience or saw someone that had an experience or something moved them. But in my opinion, philanthropy is about a heartstring being tugged in one way or another. And it was no different for me. But it was completely by accident, actually. I had done all the things growing up that I should do, as a Girl Scout and all the things in the neighborhood and all the church things and all of that. But my husband and I were traveling. We're both scuba divers, and we were traveling in a region of the world, Micronesia, Truk Lagoon. You'd have to look real hard on a map to find it. But it's a big World War II site from World War II. Lots of Japanese ships are sunk. Anyway, we were scuba diving, and a friend of ours that was with us had an accident. And not a diving accident, but cut herself really badly. And this island, there was no medical care or anything. There was a small clinic. And anyway, through the course of the day, they worked on her, but took the opportunity to show my husband and I what little they had and how much they had. And it was that one simple view, experience, discussion. It didn't last very long. I had never seen what was called an operating room with cats in it. I'd never seen mothers in labor on the floor with running water running behind their back and no food to eat. So it was, for me, it was, like a rocket ride. I'd come from my very comfortable existence in Arizona and was all of a sudden thrust into a situation that I didn't know how to. It overwhelmed me. It rolled over me and flattened me. And so it was very simple. I began sending things to them like many of you do. It was nothing more than that. It went on from there. They needed doctors. I put doctors together, took doctors in there. We emerged into a mobile medical unit that wound up being a trauma unit going into war zones and on and on and on. Philanthropy is very personal. And I know each of you have had a very personal ride with this. And we'll have more of them because philanthropy takes you in the most diverse directions and in the most incredible ways, in ways that you gain so much from, and certainly those that you are aiding gain from also. It has led me 30-some years later to doing what I do every day of my life, and I wouldn't be anyplace else but here. I'm doing just what I do. And I'm glad to, like I said, I'm glad to see there are so many young people here, because this is the future, what philanthropy is all about and what aid work is all about, because it's all tied together. My parents had a very major role in this, in that my father was part of the greatest generation. He was a B-17 pilot in World War II in the Army Air Corps. Came back, believed that the world had given him so much, that our job was not only to do well, but to do good. And he just instilled that in me by his actions, not by what he said.
I often think of the journey of a philanthropist as a life journey.
It is.
And something that is never ending. And we, as human beings, are always trying to be better. We struggle with it. The things that have been most instructive to me in my own journey as a human being are often the greatest mistakes that I've made. What are, as a philanthropist, as a donor, what are some of the greatest challenges or stumbling blocks or mistakes that you have crossed paths with?
Well, someone mentioned down here, naysayers. In my early years, I would believe the people that said, well, why are you doing that there? Or why are you going there? Why don't you just stay home? You can't make a difference. You're one weird blonde lady running around the world. You can't do that. So stay out of it. And my mistake in the early years was believing that, and believing that I couldn't make a difference, and that maybe this wasn't an effort that I should be doing, and maybe I shouldn't be out there. And they're dead wrong. Because together, one person can, as you've seen, I'm not telling you anything, one person can not only make a difference in one life, but that one life could be possibly the next president of that country, or the next head of the hospital, or the next nurse, or something, something along those lines. My mistake was believing the naysayers in the beginning. And then when I found out they were way wrong, then making sure that I told them they were wrong.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very profound. It's very profound for me.
And was there a moment where you, what was the moment?
I got mad. I wound up in Kuwait 3 days after the end of the first Gulf War in '91. And I had taken the medical team in, and we had been tasked with something specific, which was not what it turned out to be, which is fine, because that's what aid work is all about. It's never what you expect. It's always something different. And we wound up, we thought we were going to be doing some basic elements there, wound up repairing children who had come out of their homes for the first time in 7 or 8 months, because, they'd all been underground. And after the Iraqis had left, and they were stepping on landmines that had been buried in the playgrounds. And so it was at that moment, because not only did we repair the Kuwaiti children that had stepped on landmines, but we had been asked to go to Basra to help with the refugees that were fleeing Iraq at the time, and we did. I got caught between two elements, two political elements that said, you shouldn't be there because you're with them, you shouldn't be there because you're with them, they're on the other side. I had a profound moment and an epiphany that said, wait a minute. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to do the best I can for anyone in need. And those of you that want to say something different, you can leave the room. And it was profound. It catapulted me even further than where I was at that moment to go way beyond what I ever thought I could do, including bringing a daughter home. Everyone will have that moment in the work that you do, whether it's physical work in the field or whether you're a donor. You will have a moment that it will not only take you to where you want to be, but the path that you know is the right path, and the right path for your own heart. Philanthropy is all about where your heart takes you.